Hi, this is Crystal, and I am off to Shambhala here on YouTube, and this is Reseller Shop Talk. This is a show or podcast that is usually about an hour long, where I just pretty much talk. I might show you a few things, but it's really designed for you to listen to while you're working. So thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. Especially if you've listened to me before, I'm really honored that you would come back again. So I haven't been real regular with posting these because I had major life happen. But I've decided that I just need to buckle down and just do this once a week, aiming for Mondays. And hopefully I can make myself do it, unless another major life thing happens, but even in the face of most major life things, I think I could still get around to doing this. So anyways, okay, water cooler gossip. I was watching Reseller Pulse, I think it was from a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago. I want to say that these are some notes from a show I was going to try to do 3 weeks ago or so, and I didn't write down the episode, and I don't know if I'll be able to find the exact link to the exact episode of Reseller Pulse that I'm talking about right now. But it's probably no big deal. If you haven't come across Reseller Pulse yet, definitely check them out, and I will have a link to whatever their latest post is. But love the Reseller Pulse guys, and I'm sure I'll be talking about them again. One of the guys on there, actually he's the guy whose show it kind of belongs to his channel, Goldenfinger Picker, otherwise known as Chad, or should I say the other way around. He said something that really caught my attention. And I don't even remember what it was about, but he's like, screw it, I'm not gonna do it. So that is actually going to be a new segment that I am going to add to my podcast. It's going to be a segment called Screw It, I'm Not Gonna Do It. So and so, you know what, and then I'll get to that segment next when I'm done with water cooler gossip, which is a segment where I talk about other resellers on YouTube. And I may get into talking about other resellers that maybe aren't necessarily active on YouTube, but maybe active in other social media, but I pretty much just stick with whoever's on YouTube. I'm really not big into the other social medias. I probably should get into like Instagram and Pinterest or something. Just Pinterest probably more so for just putting pictures of my stuff up, just to, help boost sales a little bit, hopefully. But I've had issues with that. I need to figure that out. Okay, but let's get back to water cooler gossip. So, and also, I think it was on the same Reseller Pulse show where Chad said, screw it, I'm not gonna do it. I don't know why that just amuses me so much. They were also talking about how there's some really great content makers for the eBay reselling community that are no longer making videos. And I've got a list of 4 of them. So if you haven't come across any of these people, check them out. I think they have really great content. The first one I want to talk about is Dallas Moore. Now, he does have some videos that get a lot of views, and they probably come up in searches a lot still for people that are just starting to do research about reselling, and they're probably still coming across some of Dallas Moore's videos, but I sure do miss him. And he did an interview with Chad's compadre, Heart's Pickers, Ronnie Hart, relatively recently, and I was like, oh yay, Dallas Moore. And I think he's, you know, every once in a while he'll show up. I sure would love to run into him in some more interviews. But I understand he had a baby, and he just, you know, I think his business is just, you know, overtaking his life. With his wife is probably not as active in the business, and he's busier too when he's not actually working, probably spending time with his family. At least that was the gist I got, and it makes sense. So yeah, he hasn't made a video in like a couple years, and some of these people, yeah, most of these people, it's been a couple years, except for one. They're still making videos, but on my list. But yeah, Dallas Moore, definitely worth checking out. Now, Dallas is the one who sort of influenced me to get my commercial space, my office or my warehouse, whatever you want to call it, away from home. And I've really listened to a lot of his advice about scaling your business, and, you know, paid attention to the processes. And so last March, I was starting to get things set up to bring somebody in to help me so I could increase productivity. But life happens, and I sort of had to put that off a little longer than I thought. And I mean, I suppose if I was a little more dedicated, maybe regimented and disciplined, I don't know, I probably could have met my goals. But, you know, I'm a mom, I'm a single mom, and it's just time consuming to be in my position. And I'm not saying that I couldn't have still moved my business forward or done things differently, but, you know, in life you make choices, and a lot of my choices tend to be mom things. But pretty soon, the kids are going to have to understand that my priority is more around work things than them. And it kills me a little bit when I think about it, but you know, my oldest is an adult, and he's going to have to get himself out of his own messes. And he doesn't really want me to help anyways, or he does, but not, he wants me to save him, you know, and I want to help him by giving him good advice, and he doesn't want to take it. So what are you going to do? I made another video like 3 weeks ago. These are my notes from that video, and I started going off about what was going on with him, and I was getting all upset, and I'm like, I gotta stop going off on all these non-reselling tangents on this podcast. So anyways, let's get back. Yeah, Dallas Moore, I really love him. He's really got a lot of great advice if you are trying to scale your business, or you're thinking about moving out of your house, getting some kind of commercial location, and hiring help, that kind of thing. And he doesn't make videos. I don't know if he'll ever start making videos again, but really like him. Okay, then I guess I'm gonna go with the Gilmans. They're still doing videos, but they're doing a lot of inspirational videos, or they'll be like, hey, there's a help for people that want to get into private labeling kind of a thing. And I really love the Gilmans, and I really think that, again, I can't tell you how many times I've mentioned them on all of my videos. But I really like the direction that they're going with the inspirational stuff, and yeah, I just think that's cool for them. I think they could go somewhere with that. But I do miss their eBay videos. I just loved watching their eBay videos. So I really do miss that they're not doing eBay anymore. So that's kind of a bummer. Okay, and then there's a guy named Richard McGee. When I first got into reselling, he popped up a lot. And I really liked that guy. He always had some good advice, you know, sprinkled in with like motivation and inspiration, and just a good all around help you learn how to sell on eBay. Tips, tricks, all kinds of stuff. He's got a really great, if you haven't run into Richard McGee, it's MCGEE on YouTube. Check him out. And I think it's been like well over a year since he's made a video. And I think he has a website and he might be doing some kind of coaching. He's just not actively making any videos. He's probably getting, if he is doing coaching or something, I should have checked his website, but I looked at it like 4 or 5 months ago and I'm like, what's Richard McGee doing? And something like some kind of coaching, and or maybe he has an ebook or something, I don't know. But he's, you know, I think his channel was so successful that he doesn't really need to make new videos. It's just sort of, you know, sitting there working for him still, I would imagine. And so, and he may have gotten more into some different type of avenue for making money. I don't know. He never came on and said, this is why I'm not making videos anymore, or, you know, which I probably wouldn't do that either, but it just seems kind of weird that he just stopped. But it looks like his website is up, so I mean, part of me is like, I hope he's okay when they just sort of drop off. But it looks like he's still alive and kicking, so I hope so. Keep up the good work, Richard, and I really appreciate what you do. I know you're probably never going to listen to this, but I really did get a lot of help from you in the beginning. And then, last but not least, my very favorite video content maker for reselling videos is Cherry Vintage. And she's very active in a lot of people's podcasts. Like, she'll be in the chats and stuff and sort of participating in the chats. And I think she might go on Reseller Pulse with Chad. I think they've been kind of bugging her to go on. And so hopefully she does. I would love to see her, whatever, just some new content from her other than what she does in the chats. And you see her a lot in the participating in like the comments and stuff. So, or if you comment on her videos, she'll probably get back to you or something. So she's still active, but she's not making content. And she makes the best videos. I just love the way she makes them. I just love her, and I think she has a degree in some kind of art, and so she's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. And so she's definitely a good one to listen to, and I sure would love it. Maybe just one video a year, Cherry, one video a year. Anyway, so, and I'm really looking forward to whenever she does get on Reseller Pulse, or maybe it was Picker's Church. I'm pretty sure it was Reseller Pulse though. So anyways, yeah, there will be a link for Reseller Pulse and a link for Cherry Vintage, Richard McGee, Gilman's, and Dallas Moore down below. And so now for our next segment, screw it, I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so my idea for this segment is to talk about the things that I just do not want to sell that actually are probably good money, but I just don't want to, and I probably won't. Or, you know, and only under certain conditions. And that would be like vacuums and vacuum parts. Like, they gross me out. I've never liked vacuums. I prefer like wood floors or tile with a broom. I don't like, I don't know why. It's just like, then it's like you never really get rid of the dirt. It's just in your vacuum. Like if you sweep it up, you can put it in the garbage right away. then you got to deal with the dirt in your vacuum. I don't know. And I just don't like dirty vacuums that come from other people's houses, and especially if there's dog hair in them and stuff. And, you know, I'm just not an animal hair person. That stuff bothers me. And I have 2 dogs right now that I'm taking care of. One used to be my dog, kind of. It was my son's dog that he didn't want to take care of anymore, and I was about to get rid of it. And the same time that his dad agreed to take the dog, I found somebody that finally wanted him, had him on Craigslist for a while, and then his dad was like, all right, we've decided we're going to go ahead and take that dog. But since it used to be at my house, I get asked to watch the dogs because they had another dog. So now I get to ask, so I end up watching the dogs. And usually it's just like maybe for a 4-day stint, maybe a week. I got him for 3 weeks. And I can't wait anyways, I've been taking him back and forth between my house and the office. I can't really leave him in the house because I don't have AC. It's too hot for them to be outside. There's absolutely no shade in my yard. And I just, even with shade, I just wouldn't leave them out. I'm not going to lock them in the bedroom, the one bedroom with the AC in it, because I just don't want to. Like, they'll pee and poop. I just know it. Well, I'm at work for 10, 12 hours. I'm not going to just like stick them in the room and have them pee and poop all over, because that's what they're going to do. That's just too long for a dog to just sort of be in a room, not able to go outside and go potty. And I don't have a doggy door, you know, so, and I don't want them running around the house either. So I take them to the office, and I got a pretty good setup here. And so anyway, so they go in my car a lot. And I can't wait to vacuum the hair, get the hair Speaking of vacuums, that's probably one good thing vacuums are good for, is getting dog hair out of, like, but then that's why I don't like vacuums, because like my brother gave me this vacuum thing and it was full of hair, and I'm like, oh my God, it just grosses me out. I'm sorry, I don't know why. I know some people don't. Chad loves to like clean out vacuums and stuff, but I just don't like them. So if somebody has like, and I know vacuum parts are really good. So if I do find like a vacuum part or some parts, or a vacuum that's not all disgusting, but I just, even then, I don't know, I don't like them. Don't like them. So screw it. I'm not going to do it. Vacuum cleaners, parts, and stuff like that. Okay, so my third base steel. I was thinking I should probably combine third base steel with my home run report. So, and this is a segment where I show a couple of good sales, basically. So a third base steel is probably something, I don't know if you would call it low-hanging fruit, but it's definitely worth selling. And you know, it's worth your time. If for all of you people who have, you know, criteria of, I don't sell anything for less than $30 or whatever, or, you know, your net is less than 30, that kind of thing. To me, that is what I call a third base steal, because I frankly actually don't find a lot of stuff, or I guess I settle. Let's just say this. I probably settle a little too much for the stuff that I'm only going to make like 8 to 15 on. And now that stuff is low-hanging fruit, stuff in that price category, and I need to get better at even just focusing on things that are gonna like sell for 30 that I can make 25 on, or you know, something I can buy for $5 or less and turn around and sell it for 30. Like, I really need to like challenge myself. In fact, that's what I was telling myself. I'm like, I've got all this little itty bitty stuff right now that I'm listing, and like I've got 100 things, and yeah, there's a few things that are probably worth $25, $30, in there, and it's just sort of like this big pile of stuff that I need to photograph and get listed. And I mean, it seems like a lot of it's clothes, and it's like you do 30 things, and it's like, that's the thing I like about clothes. It's like there's still a ton of stuff left, but clothes don't take up a lot of space, which is what I like about them. You can have like a lot of clothes in a really small amount of space compared to like the random things. So anyways, so yeah, that's going to be one of my challenges. I might do that, start that next week. I want to get a little bigger of a bite into my death pile before I go sourcing again. I'm definitely on a sourcing moratorium right now. But the thing is I'm sort of, I feel like I really need to still be out there sourcing, but I just need to be like, look, I'm not going to pick up these $10, $15 things and take chances. I need to be like, this is definitely good. This will bring me $30 or more. I can pick it up for $5 and it will probably sell relatively quickly. Like if I'm going to go out sourcing, that's what I need to get. Or it needs to be like a really good long tail item that I can pick up super cheap. Like I don't know what. Anyways, okay, so let's get to the reports. So my third base steal was, actually I sold this kind of a little while ago, but I really wanted to, I was really surprised actually. I had this Crockpot that my mom gave me, and it was really small and it was divided in the middle. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, that's really great. Like if we're having a party and I need a dip that I need to heat up, but I really don't, I just don't need it. And I'm like running out of space with all of my kitchen appliances, Anyway, so, and I don't know how much she paid for this, but I had it listed, I sold it for $23.99, not including shipping. So let's see. And unfortunately, I don't do like the screen share, so hopefully you can see that. Let's see. I don't know if that shows. But yeah, I sold that, and it's a real little one, and I was really surprised. I had it up at a high price just to see what would happen, and it sold. Like I was thinking maybe I'd be lucky to get 12 or 15 for it. But they were selling actually for even more, I think, than that $23.99 at Christmas time. This particular one. And it's, like I said, I don't think it's called a mini Crockpot, but it's real small. It's only 8 inches by 6.5 inches by 3 inches. Is that the compartment? I think that's the compartment inside. So I guess, people that entertain a lot, and they like to have that kind of stuff. Because that was the only thing I'm like, I don't really, yeah, it's nice for the one time a year that I might actually do something, but I don't really need it. I got other things. So anyways, I was real excited that that sold it. And I think that these crock pots are something that are highly likely, they're sort of like low-hanging fruit. Now, I see a lot of like bigger, older, ugly ones, or ones without lids, but I mean, if you happen to find one of these smaller ones that's like divided for dips, and also, I mean, this one was black with stainless steel, which helps too, but I think the idea is that people really like the 2 compartments, and of course the look again is nice. So just garage sales, I bet people are selling these. If you don't come, if you're going to garage sales and thrift stores like every day or whatever, you're bound to come across one of these, and I would say that it is worth it to get one and list it. And well, I guess it's not really like a $30 item, but I thought it was pretty good. I just think you can get it real cheap, and they're, and they're small enough to where they're not like a pain in the ass. You could probably throw it in one of those free 12 by 12 by 12s that you can get from eBay if you have a store. And like I said, you could hold out for bigger money at Christmas time. So, I mean, I probably could have gotten maybe another $5 to $10 for this at Christmas time. And I think they paid a little more than $10. It shows on the screen $10.60 for shipping, but I think they paid a little more. I'm sorry, I should have looked it up. And I, you know, and then I probably made like $1.50 off the shipping, or maybe even more. Okay, and so my home run, I did have a home run. This is definitely a home run. To me, a home run is something that you can sell for like maybe $90 or more. I don't care. You can say all day long that a home run is something that you sell for $700 that you picked up for $1 at a garage sale. Well, you know, that's just so rare. And I know home run sort of is a rare thing too, but you know, it's pretty rare to even find something that you might be able to pick something like this up for like $5 or $10 at a garage sale, or less if people don't know what it is. And you could probably sell this thing for, if you picked it up used, I would say you could sell it for like $80. And mine sold for $140, brand new. So check this out. And you would never, a lot of people wouldn't even notice this. They'd probably go, oh, that's kind of neat. But they would think that, oh, maybe I could get $12 for that. They're going to pass it up. Don't pass this up. This is a Matilda Jane, You Make Me Happy Secret Fields Blanket. And this one was new, and I sold it for $139. The blankets and tote bags from Matilda Jane. If you don't know, if you don't have time to look something up, just buy it. I mean, unless somebody's like, you know, asking $50 for it. But if you're at a garage sale and you see like a Matilda Jane blanket or some kind of tote bag, you know, maybe you can get it for $5 or even $10. It would be worth, because the stuff sells. Matilda Jane, people love it. And actually the used stuff sells pretty quick because it's a little cheaper. People love Matilda Jane. It's one of those, if you don't know what Matilda Jane is, it's one of those companies where they, what do you call it? Like, it's not really like an MLM. Who else? I don't know. It's just they do in-home parties like Tupperware or Pampered Chef. But I don't think there's like the pressure to get somebody to become what they call a Matilda Jane trunk keeper. Like it's kind of like you have to like apply for it, or it's like owning a franchise almost. And they have names for everything, has a name, and everything has a number. Well, some things aren't marked with the number, but the vast majority of Matilda Jane has some kind of a number. And they all have a specific name. And the customers that buy these are pretty familiar with the names. So you don't have to, it's, you know, that's the beautiful thing about brands and stuff. Like, people are looking for this stuff. And they, you know, and then they only make it for like one season and then it's gone. You can't get it from Matilda Jane. It's not going to be at the Matilda Jane party. I think there are some items that they keep carrying for season after season, or they have available. I'm kind of guessing on that, but yeah, this is called the You Make Me Happy Blanket, and they have a collection too. So, and it's from a collection called Secret Fields. And I can't remember. I didn't look it up. I was too lazy. I'm like, well, these blankets look like they're going pretty good. I'm just going to throw it up there and put it up for an extra high price and see what happens. And it sold like right away. Right away. Now, I did not acquire this, just so you know, I did not acquire this from like a yard sale or something like that. This was a consignment deal. And the gal who gave it, who I consigned it for, she suggested that I sell it for $100. But after doing some research, I almost wished I'd put it up for another $160 or $170, to tell you the truth. I think it still would have sold. And that's why I think if you get a used one, it's probably at least $80. And the other thing is, there was none of these listed. I couldn't find any information about it anywhere. But I know Matilda Jane, and people know the names of the stuff. And so far, home run all the way. If you ever see any kind of, and like I said, Matilda Jane Blanket, Matilda Jane, any kind of tote bag, it's probably going to do pretty good and sell pretty quick. The clothing, pick that up too. But some of the clothing you might only do like $20 on, 15 or 20, which is still totally worth picking up. But, you know, they're not, if you're one of those kind of people that wants to stick with the home runs, and you don't do clothing, well, you should know about the Matilda Jane accessory type things, which I think a lot of people that don't do clothing would be interested in doing blankets or at least like some kind of tote bag or something. And then there's another website for Matilda Jane where you can sort of figure out what's going on as far as like what collection something came from. You can look stuff up. And the tags, usually there will be at least some kind of information on the tags, which will help you find it on the website so you can get more information about it. Because it really helps if you're selling Matilda Jane, it really helps to at least know the name, the name of the item. Like, this is You Make Me Happy. There was one that I just sold that actually I probably should have put on. Well, let's bring it up now. This one, if you find this, I would say this is at least a third base steal. Even if you could probably sell this if it was in good enough condition, you could, and used, you could probably sell this for a good $40. Worst case scenario, $30. And if there's any others up there, put the high price on anyways and just wait, because it will sell. But like I said, worst case scenario 30, if we're talking used, worst case scenario 30, probably 40. But this is the sunny weather dress. Hopefully that's showing up. If you see this dress, it will probably sell. And you can get a good price, even used. There's a bunch of other Matilda Jane that's really good to pick up. I mean, I am not kidding. Like, we're talking kids' clothes for $30, $40, $50, $60. You know, just gotta love it. Okay, so that is my home run report and my third base steals. All right, next one. Oh, I forgot to get this. There's always something I forget. Finders keepers. Okay, this is something that I am going to keep if it doesn't sell. And it's going to go to my granddaughter, but I'm going to give it another year. My granddaughter is going to be turning 2, and she's not quite ready for this, although I'm sure she would have fun playing with it now. But I'm thinking I'm going to wait. If it doesn't sell, by the time she turns 3, I think maybe when she's 3 or 4 at least, they can start playing the hot potato game. I found this super duper cute hot potato plush from Hallmark. And it's so cute and it works really good. And I think it plays Pop Goes the Weasel, and then you pass it on. And as long as it keeps making music, you keep passing it on, and then all of a sudden it'll stop. And it works really good. So it just makes playing hot potato so much more simple. I mean, this would be great for like a preschool class teacher or a kindergarten teacher. You know, where you got those little. I still love playing hot potato. Like, if I had a kid's birthday party, like, that would be #1 game on the list, hot potato. And if they're big enough, not so much for little kids, but watermelon eating contests and hot potato. Those are my 2 favorite birthday activities. Okay, so check this out. And there's not a lot of these listed, but people aren't really looking for them. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, it's so cute. So I I'm actually going to be raising the price because I don't really want to sell it that bad. But, you know, you can't keep everything. Like, there's so many things that, like, oh, I would keep it, but you just, like, I'm in business. I'm not in the collection of stuff zone. I am in the, you know, flip things for money zone. So I'm resisting keeping it. But I think I'm going to put it, I had it at a high price when I first listed it because I thought maybe it's like one of those rare things, you know, and somebody would be like, oh my gosh, yeah, you know. And then I lowered the price, and but I think I'm going to put it back up. Because I'm going to put it up at like $25, and then when I run sales, it'll be closer to $20. And because this is the kind of thing, if somebody wants this, they're going to want this. They're going to pay $20. But I may never find anybody that wants it, but I'm not going to let it go for less than $20 now. So I'm raising the price on that too. I better note to self, raise price on hot potato. Anyways, okay, so that is my Finders Keepers item. Okay, now we're gonna go to Think Inside the Box. This is a segment where I talk about shipping, basically, and typically I talk about stuff that goes inside of a box, but it could be outside of the box, I suppose. But it would be, or I could be attached to the box because, you know, anyways. So this is one of my favorite shipping items, the drink holders. And I get these from corner store, like the convenience store, gas station. And I get like these big old huge, some of my videos you see these big huge cups. Well, they might be different than these, but they're big and huge. And people are like, dang, she must be drinking a lot of soda. Well, I get ice, and I drink ice water and munch on ice all day because I just love ice water. And they give you free ice, so I just fill these up with ice, and then it's my, that's my drink for the day. I get like maybe 4 of these a day. And you can reuse the cups, and then you get it for free. So that's why I always have them around, and I do not drink soda. So anyway, so I get these like almost every day. Not every single day, but I do pick these up a lot, and so I have a big pile of them. And then a lot of times, like, I'll use 4 of them, like, if it's the right thing, and then I'll have like one underneath, one on each side of the item, and then it's like stiff, and it fills up the space, and then I do. And this is for something that is only marginally fragile. If something's really super fragile, I'm going to just fill it up with popcorn, and there's going to be plenty of space. And bubble wrap it too if it's super fragile, or double box it if I don't have bubble wrap, or whatever. You know, it's sort of a case by case. But if it's fragile enough to where it just needs extra protection, but not super duper fragile, where you really need to totally 100% surround it with styrofoam, because the more if you have styrofoam and bubble wrapping an item and then styrofoaming around it and having about 2 or 3 inches on each side of the item is the best way to package something. And you want to use a brand new box, and that will help prevent places like UPS from saying, well, we're not going to cover your insurance because you did a poor packing job, because they can do that, and they will do that. I don't know how often that happens, and they might be lenient on certain things, but they can. And so if you know, anyways, the other thing these are good for is sort of like space fillers. Like sometimes you might have like a square box or a rectangle box, but you really needed a square box, so you've sort of got this extra space on the side, and you don't want to spend time filling it up with papers or wasting the popcorn. in those spaces. You could just sort of slip a couple of these in, and it'll give, you know, some structure and just, you know, it gives it structure, and then it'll create the energy a little. I'm sure it has some energy absorption. Anyway, so I love these. Definitely, if you shop at places like the convenience stores and they have these, and you get drinks or whatever, or maybe you pick up a coffee every morning, and you could just go ahead and grab one of these. I mean, I definitely would not just grab like a whole stack of them or something, but well, they know me at my store. I mean, I could just go get one drink and just be like, I'm going to take one of these, and they'll be like, okay, whatever. But I mean, I certainly wouldn't just take like a whole stack and not like buy anything. The other reason I'm in really good with the people at the convenience store, I have already healed 2 people from horrible diseases. Well, not really. One of the gals had a bad ear infection, and the other gal had a headache, and I'm all into like natural remedies and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, the girl that had the earache, I'm like, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go get some stuff. And I brought back, I'm like, Dr. Crystal in the house. And she was like, the next day, she's like, oh my God, my ear infection went away the next day. I can't believe it. Well, actually, she wasn't really that surprised, but she was surprised at the same time that it just worked so well and so fast. I'm like, yep. And you probably could have spent like $150 at the doctor. And anyway, so we're not going to go there. Okay, so that is my think inside the box tip. Oh, okay, Architect Talk. So I was hoping to have had some money to invest in new actual tech type gadgets, but I think part of tech has to do with using the applications, and by that I mean websites or whatever. I tried to explain that to my dad. You know, I'm like, okay, typically people think of apps as the thing on the phone, but anytime, any software or website is also an application. So, and he was having a hard time with it. Oh my God, he just is so funny. My dad, see, you know, he always comes up because he's worse than me. So, you know, he's just so funny. And I think I mentioned this on another video. He's an architect, and back in the 80s, he had his whole office set up with computers with a program called VersaCAD, which was supposed to be geared for architects versus AutoCAD, which was originally geared for engineers. At least that's how they were selling it. And so, of course, he invested in the VersaCAD, and you know, it's compatible, but it was a nightmare. And he was like one of the first ones, and not everybody else. Nobody could make it work to the compatibility thing. And then I think by the early 90s, like everybody was just using AutoCAD. And I think he started in about 82, 83. Let's just say 83. With the computers. So, and he was using VersaCAD, and he continued. VersaCAD is still around, and he continued using that. When did he stop? Probably around the new millennium, like 98, 99. He was like sick of it, and he just went back to like right before everybody really started to get into the internet. He gave up on the computers, and he just went back to hand drafting. And he's happy. And you know what? I don't blame him. I really like hand drafting. There's nice things about using AutoCAD for drafting. But I don't know. It's like an art. It's a technical art. Anyway, so I know how to do architectural drafting. Like, I could teach a class on how to do manual drafting. In fact, I wanted to do in an upcoming show, I was planning on getting some things together to show people for drafting things that sell and tell you what the names of them are, and let everybody know that I am available. If you come across like some drafting stuff, it sells pretty good, and if you don't know what the heck you're looking at, get in touch with me. So, let's see, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so anyway, so I learned some new trick. I had something sell, and I usually, when I sell something, I go and I check it in PayPal like before. Usually, well, I'm supposed to do it before I ship it, but a lot of times I don't do it until right after I ship it. But the same day, practically, I will go on PayPal and just check it, and then I get the, what do you call it, the PayPal fee, because I keep track of all those fees. And I just got that outright from GoDaddy, and I haven't really looked at it, so hopefully next week I'll have a little more to say. So far I'm not real happy with it. Okay, but that's just for my needs. So okay, so there was something, and I'm like, how come that's not in there? And I didn't see that the transaction was in PayPal. So I called eBay, and I'm like, you know, what's going on? It says on eBay that this thing has been paid for, it's ready to be shipped, but it's not showing on PayPal. You know, can you check it out on your end, whatever? And they're like, yeah, and you're gonna have to call PayPal. So I called PayPal, and they're like, yeah, it went through. And then nobody at that time suggested that I clean my cache, which I should have thought about because I've been through similar situations before. Well, actually, usually when a customer service person suggests that they clean your cache, it's like something's just totally malfunctioning. It's not like this one little teeny tiny piece of information is missing, but everything else is going through. It's just weird. So this one transaction just would not come through. And but they swore at eBay that it was paid for, and they swore at PayPal that that was there. So what I did was, after I got off the phone with them, actually I went on my tablet and I looked at PayPal, and it did show in my PayPal on my tablet, but for some reason on my computer it wouldn't show. And then I didn't think to clean my cache at all. Nobody suggested me, and I just didn't think about it. And I don't know why, because it's one of those things that I really don't think about doing very often. There was a while there where I would clean my cache like once a week on my old computer, but I don't know. I got this new computer and it just works great, and it seems like I just got it yesterday, so why bother cleaning the cache? But technically it's been a good 4 months, so I guess I should start cleaning the cache. So anyways, if you don't know what cleaning the cache is, leave a message or look it up. Cache is C-A-C-H-E, and it also cleans your cookies, and it just helps to, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I need to look it up. I don't understand why it's a problem, why you even have to freaking do that. Anyways, I find it really annoying that you even have to go in and do that. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong piece of paper. Okay, so back to my PayPal situation. So that thing wasn't showing, but and so I'm like, okay, fine, I will just ship it. And, but this whole lesson did make me think that I need to check PayPal, like, before I actually purchase shipping. Not wait until after, which actually I do more often than not. So then, when I went to go sign up with GoDaddy, that was giving me issues too, and this was right after the PayPal situation. And so I got on the phone with this really awesome customer service dude. We chit-chatted about all kinds of things. And he said, well, because we couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get into my new GoDaddy, what do you call it, account, and get into the accounting application. And so he said, I can't remember, I think he said, well, try this and try that. And he's like, you know what, go to, and he was like, what browser are you using? I'm like, Chrome. He's like, well, go to incognito window. And that is like, oh, I think because he had tried to tell me to clean my cache. And something weird just happened. And it didn't work. Which was kind of weird, because usually when there's problems and it has to do with cleaning your cache, it works. Because then he said, well, go to the incognito window. Yeah, incognito window. Now, incognito window is right here. I guess I'll show you. There's, if you're in Chrome, I don't know what it looks like. I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure there's videos about it and whatever information all over the internet. But see these little, those little 3 little dashes right there? Right here. If you click on that, and I'm not going to click on it, there's a drop down screen, and it says, and then it'll be like incognito window, and you pull it up, and it's sort of like opening up a new internet deal. See how non-techy I am? But it doesn't collect cache, or it doesn't, you know, collect cookies. It doesn't collect your browsing information. And so I looked up a little bit. I'm like, well, what are the advantages to using this? And to see what the official word on the street is. And I only looked at like one website, and there might be other things. So for one thing is if you're having sort of an issue and you don't want to, because I find it cumbersome to clean your cache. It's like you have to like log out of everything. You could just open up an incognito window real fast and check it and see if that cache thing is a problem, because if it works in the incognito window, then it's a good way to determine that you do need to clear your cache to solve the problem. So I hope that makes sense. So I could clearly see that, and I think that's really great advice. And so I am going to, just if I'm having issues, I'm going over to incognito window. And I think it might be called like private browsing or something on other search engines. But I don't know. You'd have to look at it. If you typically use Firefox or Explorer, you know, you just look it up. What's private browsing would be another word for it. But if you type in an incognito window, you could say like, what is incognito window on Firefox? And I'm sure something will come up. Anyways, not that you need me to tell you that, but I don't know, if you're totally new, maybe you do. I don't know. So yeah, I was really excited, and I told the guy from GoDaddy, I'm like, that's gonna be on my next Reseller Shop Talk show on YouTube. So, and you know what? I wish I'd have gotten his name. Thanks, guy from GoDaddy. Okay, he was a really nice guy. And now, some of the other reasons why you would want to use it are if you're gonna look at porn and you don't want to have browsing information. I'm sorry. That's it. Apparently, it's known as like, what did the website say? It's known as the one of the most porn mode. Put it in porn mode. I might put that in my title of my Reseller Shop Talk. I'm porn mode. Oh my gosh. But there are other reasons, not only to check to see if you're having a cache problem, or you need to clean your cookies and that's causing whatever problem you're having, but it's mostly just any time that you do not want browsing history by other to be accessible by other users. So, you know, one of the most common times probably, and if this ever had, if you're on a public PC, like sometimes if my printer's broken down, I will send my shipping labels over to the FedEx office right down the street, and then I just run over there and print out my labels. But they have like a public, well, there is a way to do it without having to use the, well, if you're doing, oh, I know, there was some reason, it was when I was moving, and I'm like, I don't have time to deal, I just couldn't focus in the office, everything was a mess, nothing was plugged in, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go down and do it at FedEx. So I got on their public PC to actually create the label. So I had to log into my eBay account down at FedEx, and so when you go to those places, you can choose. You still should be able to choose private mode or incognito window or whatever. You should be able to use porn mode. And you know, according to the article that I read, those kind of places, I mean, FedEx could have some sort of safety nets in place, but a lot of public PCs, they really aren't conscious of. They don't. You really should not leave it to chance. So then, public PCs. There was one other thing. Okay, well, I got it up. So it's also a paywall loophole, and oh my gosh. This is amazing. And I have been, if you've ever been like on the New York Times, like it will only let you read a certain amount of articles. And then it's like you have to pay to read more. I'm like, well, you guys are full of shit half the time anyway, so why the fuck do you want me to pay you? And I know there's some articles where they just totally, basically slandered somebody. And I have no respect for them. And so I just feel like anything they say could be potentially like a big fat lie. And they're mainstream media anyways, which pretty much I already think is probably, you know, 50% of what comes out of them is like a lie or a twisted version of the truth that's spun. Okay, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, so I would never pay those people. I'm like, well, I am not reading that. But I guess, you know, they have the reputation, so people will pay. I don't know. Maybe there's other things in the New York Times that are valuable that are worth paying for, but I don't know what they are. Okay, where was I? Okay, so apparently, so if you go on to incognito window, you can then just read all the articles you want, because every time you go on there, and maybe because it doesn't know how many times you've been on there. So any kind of thing like that. And that was the example that they gave. I don't know what else there is for like a paywall where it's like you can only read, you know, access one class. Ooh, I know something. I'm not going to say it though. Ooh, I'm so excited. Okay, and you know what? I don't feel bad about getting around this, especially if it's New York Times, or if you've already spent like $1,000 for something. You know, go ahead and use it for a little while for free once you realize this. Or if it's something you're not going to totally abuse. But the other thing, well, the thing that I'm thinking about that I'm going to use this for, I'm going to miss out. There's some other features I'm missing out on that are worth paying for, totally. But it's something that I had to stop paying for. Okay, but I was like, oh, this hurts because I loved having access to it. But I think this will work. I can't wait to try it. And what was the other? That paywalls. Public PCs. Okay, and then just some other reasons that, yeah, they were saying that if you are just at home on the computer, maybe you share with people and you're shopping for a surprise present and you don't want somebody to see the browsing history or something. I mean, there's really a lot. Just it's really all about the browsing history. You just, if anytime you don't, so you've got porn, paywall loophole, public PCs, and checking to see if the problem is indeed your cache. Okay, so that is incognito window or private mode on, and you heard it here on Aki TikTok. Okay, what is next? Oh, I'm at an hour already. So far, I think that was like a really apparently this is something that not a lot of people know about, that incognito window. So I was like really excited to hear about it. Okay, I have my last segment is, and now for something completely different, which I'm not going to go too far and deep into. But I was just reading, if you don't know who Wayne Dyer is and you want something, and you're busy working all day and you want something that is going to lift you up, Wayne Dyer. Listen to him. Get his CDs. You can get him up on YouTube, and you can get like his PBS specials, which are like a couple hours long or an hour and a half. I don't know how long some of them, but they're really good. I mean, just Wayne Dyer, he's number one in the self-help, inspirational, motivational speaker guru that just, I just love him. He's so good. He's so lovable. He's so authentic. I mean, he's just, and he passed away like last year, and yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. I usually do not get too emotional about public people that pass away, because I really didn't know them. I mean, yes, I mean, I'm like, oh, you know, Prince died, you know. I wasn't like a big huge fan. I wasn't into him. I didn't like spend hours listening to interviews from him. And even if you do, like, even those people, they've got a persona. But with Wayne, it's like you get to know him, you know. Oh, I just love him. So I highly recommend. So anyway, so I was like looking at his big thing at the end of his life was about your purpose is to just live joy. Just to find joy. That's your purpose. Because part of me, I'm going through this thing where I'm like, why are we alive? Like, what is the point of all this? And so sometimes I need to like be like, okay, Wayne says joy, so I'm gonna look up, you know, more about what he says, because I find him so uplifting. So, but there was this one thing I read, a thing, I should have written it down. And actually he was talking about this other really popular sort of spiritual, inspirational gal, Marianne Williamson, who wrote A Course in Miracles, which is really popular. And I've touched on it, read it a little bit, but I just never delved into her too much. I don't say that I have anything against her, but I wasn't like grabbed by her, and but I didn't really give her enough of a chance as far as like really reading her material or listening. But Marianne Williamson, I should probably look her up and see if she does anything on YouTube. But a lot of people really like Marianne Williamson, and so this is actually from her. And you know what? Thanks to Wayne and this, I probably am going to take some time to learn more about what Marianne has to say. Okay, so anyways, this is an article. It's like an interview, and it's written in text that I'm reading with Wayne Dyer and somebody, and they're talking about joy. And this is kind of actually from his the time that he wrote The Power of Intention, which I have a great story. Okay, I'm going to have to make this longer. I have a great story about The Power of Intention. That's one of his books. He's written like 30 or 40 books or something, probably maybe even more. So anyways, But fear stops people, the interviewer says, and then Wayne Dyer responds, yes, it does. In fact, Marianne Williamson has written that there are really only two primary emotions in the universe, love and fear. So anytime you're feeling anxious, insecure, worried, angry, or resentful, you've left love and entered fear. And that really speaks to me. Like, I needed that message. I mean, maybe this isn't, you're like, whatever. And a lot of times I hear stuff that really is inspirational and it just goes over my head. But then another time I hear it and I'm like, oh, that hit me just at the right moment when I needed to hear it. And so when I read that, I'm like, oh my God, that hit me. This is why our purpose is to experience joy so that we can love one another, because there's all this stress. Any kind of religion, philosophical, a lot of it is all about the energy that you give off and how it affects your fellow man or everything in the universe even. I mean, if you really want to get into it, I totally believe that your energy. And when you are in a state of love, that is like a vibration that is like the preferred vibration. I don't know how else to say it. It's like the vibration that creates improvement. I don't know. It makes things better. It doesn't bring anybody down or whatever. There's so many different ways to look at it. But I mean, it affects everything. It makes the possibilities, the good possibilities, more likely to happen. I don't know. I mean, maybe it feeds bad stuff too, but I don't know. But, you know, and the Christians have this idea about caring for creation and thus caring for mankind. That's kind of a big thing, caring for creation, caring for others. And that's why there are so many amazing Christian organizations that do amazing things. And, I mean, still to this day, even within our welfare state, they still are so active and in lifting men up. Anybody who's like atheist and is like, you know, Christians are crazy, or anybody that follows religion is crazy. You know, I am actually agnostic for the most part, but I understand, but I'm an active agnostic, and I'm technically a Unitarian Universalist. Anyways, I'm just going off here. What do I want to say? Anyways, I didn't really practice this at all. I never do. But just anytime that you're in a state of love is when you're going to be doing your best, and you're going to be for yourself and for others, basically. So once you fall out of love or out of joy, then, you know, you're more likely to enter fear. I mean, well, I think there's other, you know, like if you've got two categories, love and fear, and then anxiety and anger and resentment and whatever, insecurity, anxiousness, if all of those are fear feelings that really boil down to fear versus, you know, joy. What else would be under love? Joy. You know, the good feelings, a sense of accomplishment, confidence, just laughter, joy, happiness. I'm just trying to think, what else is there? A feeling of solidarity when you feel connected to others and it warms your cockles, you know. When you feel confident that, you know, you're just confident that things are going your way, or, you know, you're whatever, or you're looking forward to something. Those are all states of joy and thus, you know, love. So I have decided that I am just going to be happy and live in a state of joy. And when I start feeling any of those fear feelings, I'm just going to be like, do I need to do something about this? Or do I need to say, there's nothing I can do and be happy about it? And that goes back, this is another thing in Christianity that I think is one of the most amazing things from the Bible, or the prayer, that one prayer, serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the ability to know the difference between the things I cannot change and the things that I can. I mean, that's really boils down to life. And that is probably one of the best things you could ask God for. If you are Christian, or even if you're just an agnostic like me and you're like, well, something somewhere out there, I don't know what it is. Maybe we could call it God, our source, the personified version of source, God, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with thinking of our source as God, but I don't think it's wrong to think of God as our source, because He's our creator. So anyways, I think that's the best thing, like in your times of trouble, is to ask for that. Help me to know what to do. And the things you can't do anything about, there's no reason to be upset about it, so you might as well just have serenity. So anyways, I really love that Wayne Dyer, and I'm going to have to look more into Marianne Williams, and I just wanted to remind everybody to stay in a state of love, or at least think about it, and try to listen to some inspirational stuff, in addition to Cherry Vintage, Richard McGee, The Gilmans, and Dallas Moore, and Reseller Pulse. And there's so many more to listen to, but sometimes, like, I'd say 90% of the time while I'm working, I'm listening to something related to reselling. But sometimes, like right after I found out Wayne Dyer died, I think for like 2 weeks, all I did was listen to Wayne Dyer. And I might have like Wayne Dyer Wednesdays. In my office, it'll be Wayne Dyer Wednesdays, because I just love him. And there's so many things that, like, talks that he's given, audio tapes he's created, like he just reads his books. Oh, and there's so many of them. Oh, I just love him. If you want to know if somebody really, really knows Wayne Dyer, you ask them, are you a scurvy elephant? Or you would say, do you know who the scurvy elephant is? So if you want to find out who Wayne Dyer is, when you know who the scurvy elephant is, get back to me and let me know that you found out what scurvy elephant is. Oh, and oh my God, so great. It wouldn't be that hard to just Google it. Okay, so I guess that wraps it up. So look for those links for all of those reseller content creators I told you about. And then I'll have a link too for some Wayne Dyer stuff. And that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, and I'm supposed to mention this at the beginning of the show. I'll have to remember out in the next one. If you make videos too, be sure to leave a link down below, and I will make sure to go and watch it. And I'm perfectly happy for people to leave links to their shows, just as long as you are another reseller that is creating content about reselling, and that's what it's basically about. Now, if it's something that maybe, and I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but something that might be auxiliary to reselling, that's fine too. But, you know, I don't, or maybe if it had something to do with the topic at hand, or it comes up in conversation in the comments, you can leave a link. people are all of a sudden talking about vegan recipes or something, and you happen to have a vegan video that you made and you want to leave a link, fine, but yeah, I'm all about sort of that whole networking thing with being able to introduce your content to other people and all that. So definitely, include that down in the comments if you have it. So thanks for stopping by, and we went a little long on this one, but hopefully it was interesting enough. And I'm looking forward to next week. I'm so excited to be back doing this. Oh my God, I feel like I'm just so happy. I'm enjoying. All right, bye.